Inspiration.com.
Now, I know what most of you are probably thinking right now. James, what the hell is this movie that you're talking about? I've never heard of it before. What is it? A travel guide? What are you talking about? For those of you who do know what I am talking about, you're probably saying to yourself, James, this movie was just released yesterday into theaters and on VOD. How are you doing a James Talks DVDs review of it already? All answers are forthcoming, my friends. Today we're talking about The Trip to Greece. I have here my 4-film collection of the trip movies starring Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon. There was The Trip to Italy, The Trip to Spain, and now The Trip to Greece. Released over the last 10 years. How do I have this? The answer? I don't. Twist. Yes, I do not have this movie yet. How am I doing a review of it? Because, as you can see, there is a spot for it. It is listed on the back of this cover. This is another one of the custom covers from my friend Oliver Judd. I will own this movie, and therefore I will review it as if I do. Because this is my show and I can. So, what is this movie? I watched it last night. It is new to VOD. I guess it's coming out in theaters. I don't know. I don't even know if theaters are open right now. If it is, I'm sure it's playing in like the little art house theaters. Those I especially wonder if they're open at all. What is this? What are these movies? You ask yourself. Steve Coogan, who we are somewhat familiar with over here. He was in Tropic Thunder, and he's appeared in a lot of. He was in Night at the Museum and Percy Jackson. He was in a lot of movies like that in smaller roles. Rob Brydon we're not really familiar with here, but over in England, they are big names. Steve Coogan especially, he's a big name. Not just comedian anymore, but now an actor. He has appeared in movies like Philomenia and Stan and Ollie, and he's grown as a performer. Rob Brydon is more of a comedian, does a lot of impressions, and they play themselves. Very exaggerated versions of themselves. Basically, Coogan plays himself as a very self-important ass, and Brydon plays himself as somewhat annoying, unable to hardly ever speak in his own voice. He's constantly doing impressions. But, and they're basically, each of these movies, a magazine has asked them to go on a trip to these individual countries to do reviews of the local cuisine, to talk, in Trip to Spain, they're following Don Quixote's path, and the Trip to Greece, they're always following some sort of a mythological historical path in each of these movies, following poets, following explorers, the paths that they crossed. And if it sounds pretentious, it is just a little bit, but in a good way. It's a good kind of pretentious. it's good for you. It's good for your head. It's good for your heart. It's good for your soul. You get to watch people in beautiful locations eat lovely food and have intelligent conversations, punctuated by impressions of Michael Caine or Woody Allen or Dustin Hoffman. You know, these two performers trying to outdo each other. There seems to me at least to be a very improvisational feel to these movies. I'm sure that they have a kernel of what they're supposed to be saying, and then the director just says, go. In England, these are not movies, interestingly enough. These are 6-part TV shows. And each of the movies is a season. We don't get that here. We get these 6, what I'm assuming are half-hour episodes, condensed down into a 2-hour movie. And I'm sort of fine with that. I mean, I love these guys. I don't know that I'd be able to sit and watch them for 3 hours. That might be a bit much for me. There are the occasional uncomfortable moments. They're getting on each other's nerves. I think more in the 4th one, you see Coogan really getting on Rob Brydon's nerves. There's these moments of him just going, you know, and listening to Coogan talk and just sort of trying to get a word in edgewise and not being able to do it, which is sort of a reverse, I feel like, from the earlier films. The movies are also, they can take very serious turns. Each of them does. There's a blurring of reality and fiction in these movies. Things that seem like they are so personal. And you just think to yourself, is that real? Is this like a real thing? Is this, whether it's the death of a loved one or an infidelity or, you know, problems with your children, you know, you go, wow, I don't know if that's real or not, but if it's not, and they're playing themselves, I wonder what they're, you know, these people in their real lives think about these portrayals. But they can get very serious and very dramatic and very poignant. And I did find myself last night watching The Trip to Greece and thinking about, well, you know, I'm not going to spoil it because this really is a brand new movie. Again, this is not like Rise of Skywalker or something where it's, you know, I'm reviewing the Blu-ray, which came out 4 months after the movie hit theaters. This is a brand new movie, so I'm not going to spoil it. But something happens towards the end of the movie, and I found myself thinking, you know, I'm going to be in this position one day. What am I going to do? How am I going to handle it? How am I going to deal with it? And when a movie can make you laugh, and this movie made me laugh out loud many times. When a movie can make you laugh and feel and think and connect on an emotional level, that is filmmaking of a higher quality than I think we're really used to. We don't get this kind of thing as much as we really should. This is, I feel like the closest comparison to it are the old Bob Bing Crosby road movies, which were just supposed to be silly. There was nothing dramatic about them. This is a much more sophisticated version of that. Not as funny, but a more sophisticated version of it. Again, pretentious? Yes. Try it. Try new things. Try new things. See, you know, put away the blockbusters, put away the, you know, give the big giant superhero movies a day off. Watch something of substance and quality. I think, I've tried to share these movies with my daughter, and she cannot focus on it at all. Like, it just bores her to tears. And I think that really is a testament to what movies have become, which are so kinetic and hypercharged. These movies really take a moment to just breathe, to just let the characters breathe, to have them just sit, to have that moment where they sit and they're sitting at a restaurant and they're looking out at this beautiful, Greek beach, and the blue water. I don't know what it is about it. Every movie I see set in Greece, I've never been to Greece, but every movie I've seen set there, the water is just a different color than any other country. And they're sitting there and they're looking out, and they just take a moment and they go, and it just is there. It just sits. And so even though you're going to get a lot of them talking over each other and trying to outdo each other as far as impressions go, and which they do beautifully, and they genuinely, as much as they play off of each other like they kind of can't stand each other a little bit, you can really see, especially in this one, that they do enjoy each other's company. They do really like each other. They do make each other laugh, and that it's fun. It's every time you see Steve Coogan finally break up. It makes you smile, even if the thing, even if you weren't laughing at the thing, the fact that Steve Coogan is, and it's so good natured, gives you a warm feeling. So, if you want to watch a movie about two very self-important men eating good food, trading good jokes, pontificating on middle-aged issues, and doing dueling Marlon Brando impressions, this is the movie for you. I give this a 4.5 out of 5. I think, given my druthers, I think of the 4, and this is supposed to be the last one. I think The Trip to Italy is my favorite, which is the second one. But this would be this would be second. This would be my second favorite. The Trip to Greece, available now to rent on Amazon Prime. One day will be housed in this case. One of only 3 movies left, by the way, that will grace these shelves. And they already have spots. They're already on here. In fact, both movies, one will go here and one will go here. But we'll talk about that another day. That's it. Go rent this movie. Go rent it. Support this movie. $5 on Amazon Prime. Go support a little indie movie. And like I said, give Marvel and Disney a day off from getting your money.
Other worlds. Sort of gave myself the challenge of, okay,